In 8 minutes, and this morning Hurricane Milton is causing millions of Floridians to evacuate as more than a dozen counties in western Florida are under mandatory evacuation orders.
State officials say Milton could be a once-in-a-century powerful storm. The National Weather Service says the storm, which is set to hit sometime tonight or early tomorrow morning, will be historic with at least a 10-foot storm surge, life-threatening winds, catastrophic flash flooding. Evacuations are creating a steady stream of traffic moving inland, bringing highways to a crawl, as you can imagine. It's a race against time to clear piles of debris left behind by Helen, with the governor ordering landfills to stay open overnight. This morning, hundreds of flights are canceled to and from Florida, while Disney World, Universal Orlando theme parks announced they'll close early today, remain closed tomorrow. The National Weather Service says that along with dangerous winds and flooding, residents need to be prepared for long-duration power outages. And First Alert meteorologist Jacob Durham's been tracking this devastating storm possibly since it began. A Category 5 at the latest, Jacob.
Yeah, Harry, and there is some good news. I've been watching the hurricane hunters fly through Milton all morning long, and it is showing some signs of potentially weakening, which would be some great news. But right now, a Category 5 storm, wind still 160 miles per hour, gusting to 195. As Harry mentioned as well, it is expected to make landfall either late tonight, early tomorrow morning. Right now, National Hurricane Center has landfall right around 2 a.m. Thursday as a Category 4 storm in and around the Sarasota community there in Florida, and then quickly racing off towards the east as we head into the weekend back over towards Bermuda. Thankfully, the cold front here pushed all of the energy south, and we're not going to have to deal with anything from Milton directly impacting us. Instead, we're tracking some fall-like temperatures coming up in that First Alert forecast here in just a few minutes.
Jacob, thanks. And not even 2 weeks ago, Hurricane Helen swept through, leaving a massive swath of death and destruction across Appalachia.
Every day since the storm, we've been getting a clearer picture of just how deadly Helen was. TEMA says officials are still working 9 leads for missing people, many still unaccounted for. The death toll also on the rise, now totaling at least 16 weather-related deaths in Tennessee, half of those in hard-hit Unicoi County. And officials say 5 of those victims were employees at Impact Plastics, and another worker there remains missing.
We're hearing from a law firm representing the families of those workers this morning. They tell us those workers died because they weren't allowed to leave the plant early enough to escape the floods. A former federal prosecutor is looking into whether the plant had a working surveillance system that day to get to the bottom of what happened. Impact Plastics said last week, quote, there was time to escape, but still 5 employees died. The firm representing the factory's founder, Gerald O'Connor, told us he is too grieving the loss of those workers. We're going to keep you updated as the investigation into the company continues. And another of those hard-hit areas is the Hartford community. As
businesses start the process of rebuilding, one major tourism draw may never be the same. For communities that rely on funds generated by rafting and tubing, the changes made by the Helen floodwaters could impact them for years to come. The Pigeon River, now full of debris, rocks, other landmarks that guides have used for tours, have shifted. They'll now have to make sure new areas are safe going forward. Hartford and all of Knox County will take some time to rebuild. Business owners are hoping people still think about them in the coming months, including next spring and summer, as they fight to keep their life's work alive.
And some good news in Knox County this morning. A boil water advisory is lifted for all Newport Utilities customers. The company says they tested water samples and found the water meets safety standards. They say anything that comes from the tap is now safe to drink. Newport Utilities does ask that you run your faucets for a few minutes, though, to make sure any remaining water in your pipes is cleared out and that clean water can start flowing.
And there are multiple ways you can continue to help those impacted by Helen. One of those events happening right now, the Morgan Wallen Foundation hosting a downtown donation drive at the Westtown Mall parking lot near Dick's House of Sport. They're asking for bottled water, pop-top canned foods, other things like protein bars and crackers. The drive started at 6 o'clock. It runs until 7 o'clock this evening. And we got an update from the Knox County Sheriff's Office about their ongoing donation drive. KCSO says they're changing their donation list ahead of the cooler weather. They want new coats, blankets, sleeping bags, bath towels. Again, they're asking for those items to be new, not used.
In the meantime, the Sheriff's Office tells us the donations they've already gotten have been dropped off in Greenville, Unicoi, Irwin, Cock, Marshall, and Hot Springs. We've got all the information on how you can help donate. It's inside your WVLT News app.
It is 6:54. A lot of kids home this week in Knox County. Let's take a look at how that morning commute looks with Olivia.
Yeah, I hear you, and Whitney. Of course, you all were just talking about that time it'll take to rebuild. It's also going to take time to rebuild some of those roads and bridges in our eastern counties. So make sure that you're following that protocol and following road signs as you head out in that area. And of course, closer on into Knoxville, our roads are looking pretty good this morning. I'll go ahead and give you a quick live look. I-40 at Hall of Fame Drive, not tracking any issues right there. And also I-75 at Merchant Drive. Seeing some cars out there, but not following any major problems right now.
And we're continuing to track a very chilly start to the day, down to 49 now here in Knoxville. So it's the first time we've been back into the 40s in quite some time. So as you're stepping out the door this morning, definitely want to head and grab that jacket and the coat with you, as well as the sunglasses. We're going to see plenty of sunshine. It's going to warm us up pretty nicely as we head through the afternoon. So what to wear today? Probably a little bit of a hoodie out there this morning, kind of weather, maybe a sweater as well. And then we're tracking more of that sunshine into the afternoon. Temperature still staying on the cooler side as we head through the remainder of the week, normally sitting right around 52 degrees for this time of year. We'll be below that Friday, Saturday. A little bit of moderation as we head towards the weekend, which is some good news that we can kind of keep a close watch on. But as we look at this first alert 8-day planner, you'll see a lot of sunshine out there. Temperatures back into the mid 70s. Looking ahead to Saturday for the Vols home game, 77 by that afternoon. So while you may not need a jacket during the afternoon hours, you might need it though as you head into the overnight hours. You'll see temperatures near 80 on Sunday. Then as we head towards next week, another cold front on the way. This one looks to be maybe a little bit stronger. We'll keep a close watch on that for you. Keep you first alerted in that WVLT First Alert Weather app. Meteorologist Ben Kathy right now is talking about some potential frost and when that could potentially be here as we head into next week. So something to keep in mind, but at least plenty of sunshine now.
Oh yeah, cannot complain. Very thankful for this 8-day planner you got for us, Jake. Of course, our thoughts go out to those in Florida who will be impacted by Milton. We'll continue to track that over on the CW Knoxville.